All right, good evening, everybody. We'll call this Monday, October 28th, 2024 meeting of the Lake Havasu City Parks and Recreation Advisory Board to order. If you could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the roll call.
Karen Cooper. Kyler Cox.
Here.
Mercedes Kaiser. Here. Jason Mitchell.
Here.
Shannon Murray. Ashley Pasquale. Here. Alex Ross.
Here.
Philip Shannon is excused. And team member Ali Strader is excused. Council member David Lane.
Here.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, we will move on to item number 4, the call to the public. We will now have an open call to the public for citizens wishing to address the board on issues within the jurisdiction of the board. Your comments must be limited to 3 minutes or less. If you wish to address an item already on today's agenda, you should wait until that item is announced for a public hearing. At the conclusion of the open call to the public, individual members of the board may respond to criticism made by those who address the board, may ask staff to review a matter, or may ask that a matter be placed on a future agenda. However, board members cannot discuss or take legal action on matters not already on today's agenda. Obviously, there's quite a few of you here tonight, and we appreciate the attendance for sure. What I would ask of you is if you are here to speak on one of the agendized items, I just ask that you wait to speak during that item. So with that being said, would anybody like to address the board at the call to the public? All right. Seeing none. Move on to item 5.1, approval of the September 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes. Looking for a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the September 23 meeting minutes.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Move on to item number 6.1, the staff report. Director Vera.
Mr. Chair, board. So for recreation, we want to give a good shout out to Havasis organization for their $2,500 donation to the Recreation Scholarship Fund. We also have our Halloween Spooktacular Trunk or Treat Halloween night. So on the 31st, this Thursday at Rotary Park from 5:30 to 8:30. Someone's excited. We also have a rock painting event November 2nd on the upper deck of the Aquatic Center from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then this Sunday starts our Sunday night musical movies in the park, which will take place every Sunday through November. In the aquatics division, we are doing our new hire fire department training November 1st. We are also excited to announce we have hired 9 new lifeguards and 1 new fitness instructor. Staff will be assisting the Boy Scouts with merit badges on November 9th. At the after school care program swims are November 7th and the 21st. Recertification of lifeguarding class is November 22nd through the 24th. Staff is working with the mile markers and Special Olympics on the new Angelfish program regarding adaptive swim lessons. Just a reminder, the pool will be closed on Thanksgiving Day and Friday, November 29th. But we will be hosting a surfing swim with Santa on November 30th, noon to 3 p.m. with a special price of $4. Our annual pool closure is taking place December 1st through the 15th. Okay, and then in our parks, we have our, again, Halloween Spooktacular and our Rock Snake grand opening November 9th at Sarah Park Trailhead. And that completes my report.
Awesome. Any comments, questions for the director? All right. A lot of good events coming up. We appreciate you and your staff. All righty. Do we want to do anything now or we want to wait till after the meeting? Okay. I didn't know. All right. We will move on to our public hearings. The first item is 7.1, discussion on the Downtown Catalyst Project update on the naming process. Director Vera.
So just a reminder for everybody, November 1st is the last day to turn in your suggested names. From there, what we'll be doing as a department is kind of skimming through the the list of names, which is well over 500 different submissions at this point. So awesome kudos to the community. It's been great. We've gotten some really great names. From there, we'll dwindle it down, and then we will be opening it up to the public to vote on their favorite name. So it's going to be everybody's buy-in at that point. So that's our update for that.
Awesome. Any questions, comments for the director? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair. Do you have an update on the progress of the park? Is it on schedule, and how is that looking?
As far as I know, right now we're completely on schedule. We should still be opening spring of 2025.
Thank you.
Great. All right. This is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item? All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. Any final comments or concerns on this item? All righty. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7.2, discussion sports lights schedule for public use. Director Vera.
So we had gotten some feedback from the community wanting to know if we would be able to have the lights on a little bit later in the evening. That's something we're looking into currently just to make sure that we can do it. I'm not sure if there's any ordinance right now regarding how close some of these parks are to neighborhoods. So we're still doing some research on that, but that's something that the park staff and I have definitely talked about, and we don't foresee it being an issue as long as there's no, like I said, ordinance that would hinder us from being able to do that.
Awesome. Questions or comments from the board? All right, this item was one that I was approached by quite a few people from the public in reference to, and just some of the concerns and comments were, we have these beautiful parks. Lake Havasu gets a little warm in the summer. I don't know if you guys have been here in the summer, but it does get a little warm. And just kind of giving an outlet for these families, these kids, giving them somewhere to go after hours when it maybe cools down a little bit. And then same thing in the wintertime when, it gets darker earlier, giving them a place to go. Some of the other, concerns that were brought to me was, the thoughts were possibly having it reduce some of the vandalism things that were happening. I think the concern and the idea was it was just going to be a benefit for everybody. So it sounds like you and your staff are working on it. So I definitely think it'd be good to see. Any other questions or comments before I open to the public? Okay, this is a public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item? All right. If you like to address the board, come on up. Yep, come on up. No pressure. You're fine. You got to have you come up because it's on the microphone. It's on the record. Don't be shy. If I got to sit up here, you can do it up there too. If you can just say your name for the record, please.
Jesse Gomez.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just curious if you guys working on that, would you be able to do it on weekends as well? Because I go there on weekend nights and it's not on. It's dark by like 6, 7. I'm wondering if that could be possible.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's something that they could look into as well.
Yeah, currently we've been looking at it for weekdays and for weekends. At this point, we know that weekends would be more popular because most parents are off of work or people are not working. So that's the time that they're trying to enjoy the parks. So, but yeah, thank you.
Anybody else like to address the board on this item? Don't be shy. All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I think it would be helpful to have a bit more information for the board if this is a discussion we want to have and if there is any recommendation that we might want to make. And I was thinking about, so obviously if there are any city ordinances, that would be helpful information to have for the board for this discussion. And then if the city is already or could look into harvesting some data. So based on cell phone records and things like that, many other companies use that to track visit and usage, which parks are used more heavily in the evening times. Is it weekends or certain weekdays? And then also just a reminder of which parks have lights already available. So if those aren't scheduled to be used, just for the board to have a sense of which parks we're even discussing in terms of keeping the lights on during open hours. And then I also thought it might be helpful to have some historical information. I know being part of this board when Cypress was opened, and lights were put in, there was a lot of canvassing and discussions with the neighborhood and the neighbors around the park. And no promises are ever made in public management, but agreements were had about the fact that those lights would not remain on if the field was not in use. And so there still could be views and stars. So I just think in order for us to have any discussion on this, we need a bit more information if that's possible.
Great suggestions, and we'll make sure that when we come back, we'll have all that information for you.
Ready? Any other comments on this item? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7.3, discussion future development plan for fields and courts. Director Vera.
So this was an agenda item that was brought up to us, and we wanted to make sure that we gave the community a space to talk about it. Right now, hopefully within this next fiscal year, we will be starting our master plan process. For those of you who are not familiar with a master plan, at least for a Parks and Recreation Department, that is what sets our foundation, possibly for the next 5 to 20 years. And in that process, we take community inputs from focus groups, community members, different stakeholders within the community. And this is a perfect time for, community members such as yourself. You would find that those opportunities to speak, use your voice, and help build the future of our department. And that could look like fields, recreation centers, future trails, paths, walkways, playgrounds, you name it. Anything that has to do with the park department, that's what that would entail.
Great. Any comments from the board before I open it to the public? All right. With that being said, the long-awaited item. We'll open this to public hearing. Would anybody like to address the board on this item? Go ahead and make your way to the podium. You can state your name for the record.
Good evening, Mike Thornhill.
You wouldn't mind just pulling that microphone up a little bit? You're a little taller.
Set for you, Kyler, sorry. Again, I'm Mike Thornhill. I'm the president of the Vipers organization. Just a few notes off the bat. First off, our Parks and Rec department is great. Leslie, Guy, everybody over there that helps us out and does things and organizes things for us, they're amazing. But they do have to jump through hoops in order to do it. With that being said, if you look at our youth facilities now that we have, I think when they were built and what we've developed into in Lake Havasu and with the size of our youth and bringing baseball and soccer and football and flag football now and everything into our community, we're lacking on the area that we can utilize. And for instance, on that, I mean, we're putting a lot of work with our city workers, which we're lacking on there too. But they're out there putting in work on these fields, and we're throwing different sports and organizations on, and from my point of view, on the baseball fields that are tearing them up after they've just redeveloped and redone all these things. Whether that's lack of space or organizing, I'm not sure. But those are things that are becoming a problem and an issue when you're getting kids out there that are rolling ankles and doing things like that. You're finding dead spots and things of that nature. And we talk about, how we want to keep up our fields, and we keep them, so the city can come in and we can use these for people coming in and building money for our tournaments and things like that. Unfortunately, we had a tournament this week and we couldn't even bring in enough people because we don't have the fields to do so. And that's nothing lacking in what we're putting forth now. Guy's been doing a lot of stuff out there. He's developed our fields a lot, and I'm speaking on the baseball half. But unfortunately, we still run out of space. When it comes to Little League time, we get kids that get pushed off that are working towards an end of the year deal to where we're going to Omaha or whatever the case is. We run out of space. If they don't have that practice time, they're going to go out there unprepared. So 2 years ago or so, we talked about a development that was going to go out at Sarah Park. It came up, and again, I heard the grading was going to cost $13 million, things of that nature. That was never presented really to us on how we could fix that, or if that money was there or not there, great, bring it to us. I mean, we've raised a lot of money over the last couple of years just with our Vipers organization. We have a lot of people that are developers and contractors and things like that have offered time and effort to do these things, and probably could have shortened that cost, but it was really just never brought to us. It kind of got shut down. So that being said, I know I only got 3 minutes, but our town has outgrown what we have. We need more facilities. I know you know this. I know money comes into concepts, but if we can figure out another way to meet to where we can bring in coaches, parents, business owners, and things of that nature, it's going to benefit everybody. It's going to bring the revenue in for our tournaments. It's going to, and I'm talking soccer, football, baseball, everybody. The hotels, stores, everything's is going to grow in that. So if we get together and we come up with a plan and we get people to donate some of that time, I think it's going to work in our favor for everybody.
Great. How many members do you have as part of your Vipers organization? Like, what's the number of athletes? You know that.
We're working right now about 150 baseball players, 120. Softball, we're running. That's included, so 120. And that's just developed in the last 3 years.
Okay. Ready? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rick Zergas. I've been a resident here 34 years, local business owner. I'm glad I'm going behind Mike. He pretty much said everything that I was going to. But I can tell you, raising 5 kids in Lake Havasu over the past 25 years, I've seen this town go from what I considered a retirement community where there wasn't a lot of kids in town, you know, in comparison to the amount of homes to the transition to what it is today. And the city's done a great job historically over the years trying to keep up, but I really feel it's very far behind on what and how this town has changed from what it was just 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Going to high school here back in the day, you know, we used the high school fields. We used what was, currently the ASU fields to having these other parks. But man, there's a lot of kids out there, and I don't think unless you've been out there, you realize how jam-packed we are and how underserved we are in Lake Havasu City in comparison to the other things that we curtail to. We travel as the Vipers organization. I've been a Little League coach. I've been a Vipers coach these last couple of years, and we travel to these different cities throughout Vegas, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Prescott, and it's pretty sad. We have a lot of money here in Havasu, but it seems to get allocated towards other items in comparison to these cities that really develop the kids, which are the future leaders, right? The future kids that are going to be sitting in those chairs one day. And I don't think that we've quite treated these kids quite to the level that we need to. Understanding that this is a city, it's a community, it might be one that comes to school, goes to school here and raises kids here and develops their own businesses. So I'd like to see, I don't think it'll be fast enough in our kids' careers to see what the city is capable of, but I'd like to really see you guys push to really develop something faster. I know the money's here, I know the resources are here, I know the land's here. You guys have discussed it for the last 10 years. We've seen stuff go into, pickleball, which is a cool new sport and things like that. And then, essentially you've neglected the soccer teams, the baseball teams, the root sports that keep these kids out of trouble. There's not a lot to do in this town for these kids. And, I'm going to use my team as an example. Is most every one of those kids are straight A students on my team. And it's something that us coaches ensure that they're not playing Sunday if they're doing bad or in trouble or whatever. And we've seen this town transition from a kind of a mediocre kind of get you by. I remember I was one of those kids in town, where all we had to do was go out Standard Wash and drink beer and have fun, right? To Saturday night sports and Saturday sports and really have a little bit of respect for what we're doing. And I don't know. I would say you need to turbocharge this thing, and really get caught up to where you need to be. Rotary spent a lot of money. I was a Rotary member back in the day. We spent a lot of money at Rotary Park. That was a joint effort. And I think that you guys can figure out how to maneuver your budget to expedite these kids' sports. And obviously, everybody that you see here today, it's a small representative of what's going down, but we need to speed it up somehow. That's all I got to say.
Great, thank you.
I'm much smaller. Before I start my 3 minutes, youth, any players, please stand. Soccer, football, baseball. If you're a player, come on, stand up. Swimming. Oh, swimming's here. Yeah, swimmers, stand up. Good job, players. And I want to thank the parents and coaches and countless volunteers that make this possible. So first, thank you guys. Hi, my name is Colleen Lowry, and I'm the Havasu Lions FC soccer president. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization that operates youth soccer programs in Havasu from ages 4 through 17. Our organization has grown to over 1,300 players annually in our recreation local program, and we have over 150 players in our competitive travel club teams. This season, we had over 70 rec teams for our fall season, 13 competitive club teams, which have a 10-month season, and over 91 local sponsors for this season. And our season started in August. Havasu Lions is more than just a youth soccer league. We are a cornerstone of Lake Havasu youth sports, fostering teamwork, building strong character in our young athletes. Our program is designed to teach valuable life skills on the field while also creating lasting bonds between players, families, and coaches. Havasu Lions FC is an essential part of the community, providing a safe and supportive environment for the children to grow and thrive. The need for additional fields in this city has become essential to accommodate the growth of our league, to ensure the safety and quality play of our athletes. We currently practice and play at Cypress and ASU fields, but we have drastically outgrown the space. The fields are in use Monday through Saturday until 9:45 p.m. The fields we are currently at have maxed out, serving a growing number of leagues, and the strain is evident. With limited space, the fields are overused. That leads to wear and tear and unsafe conditions like holes or increase of injury. We work with Parks and Rec staff to help mitigate a lot of that, and we appreciate the support that we've been provided. But it's still a growing problem, and it won't change unless we do something. As a result, our club has had to decrease practice times, reduce the amount of field space and practices available. This limits the development of our athletes, making it difficult for our teams to compete. And when we compete with other clubs from other communities, it shows because of our facilities. Other communities have invested in large sports complexes with ample acreage dedicated to sports fields, which support regular practice growth and healthy competition. Cypress, when we developed Cypress, it was great for the soccer community, but it was only a temporary solution. Now, fast forward, it doesn't address our long-term demand for space. Years ago, we've had a wise to start planning and some kind of field or sports complex. Again, we have beautiful weather here. We can develop something that doesn't necessarily have to always be indoors, but we need to invest in it. Today, as our club and community continues to grow, we are once again in need of more field space. Investing in an expansion now will allow us to provide safe, high-quality fields that give our athletes an opportunity to reach their full potential. Like all of the youth organizations here, we come today not with just a problem, but we have the desire to work with the city. We have the desire to invest not only our time, our resources, and also our funds into our youth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should have. I said, I have to follow that? Wow. I'm Steve Dochterman. I'm the new president of the Little League here in town. And unlike the Viper program, which offers baseball opportunities for players who are progressing in their play, becoming better, wanting to be more competitive and push themselves, Little League is about all kids. And it's from the best player in the league to the worst player in the league. If you want to look at a baseball skill, it's for every one of them. And we'll have 8-year-olds show up that have 2 years of specialized coaching. We'll have 12-year-olds who've never played catch. We have, this year we had, I think, 6 divisions. We go from 5 up to the kids that were in junior high and high school actually played in a junior senior this division last year for pretty much the first time in a long time. And so we are expanding to the point that we can. We are growing as the city is growing and as everybody has already spoken to. The biggest problem is numbers of fields. Now, the fields we have are great. I mean, we enjoy using them. The city, the maintenance staff, the Parks and Rec, they do a great job. and working with us and keeping the fields up and, providing us with the things that we're looking for improvements and so forth. But it simply comes down to numbers. And last year, our two upper divisions, our AAA division and our Major League division, we had 6 teams in one and 8 teams in the other. They used the same field. So we used the 2 at Sarah and we used the 2 at Samp. They used those fields. That is the maximum amount of players we could have in those 2 divisions. So I believe that's about 160 to 170 kids because we have no more room to schedule more games. Now, another consideration that comes into play, that big orange ball that's setting in the sky out there, come about April on Dick Samp 1, it starts setting to a point where we cannot use the field until the sun goes down. I know you can probably play soccer or basketball or something else with the sun up. You cannot hit a baseball when it's coming directly out of the sun. Just flat can't do it. And it's dangerous. So we have to wait till the sun goes down in order to start the game there. So we really lose a gameplay there. So again, as everybody is stressed here, I could stress the same thing from Little League standpoint, that it simply comes down to a number of fields and how many kids that we can provide the opportunity for. So, we would love to be able to expand, and something we talked about our recent board member, but we are limited. We would love to be able to provide the opportunity for as many kids to play as possible. We do carry a waiting list every year. So when we get to that cutoff point for those divisions, we cut it off, and then there's a waiting list. And if somebody has to drop or doesn't decide or whatever, they can fill it in. But we always have more kids that want to play than we're able to accommodate. And it's simply a numbers thing and a number of fields. So from Little League standpoint, again, we would love to see those things happen, understand all the processes that are involved. It's not just wave a wand and they all happen. But, the opportunity to provide more playing time and availability for kids. And again, these are all kids, not just the better playing kids that go and play baseball all the time. These are for all the kids that want to come out to play. So, we both need that, as they've spoken to as well. And, but we're not, we're limiting some of those, the players that'll never do anything but play Little League. They'll never play travel ball. They're never going to be that good. But they come out to Little League, they get a chance to be a part of a team. They get a chance to try to improve. They get a chance to learn some new things about playing a very difficult sport. And just the camaraderie and that kind of thing. You all probably seen ball games. They walk off the field, they lost the game, oh darn it, and they run outside and they see what they get for snack, and off they go running down to the field to go play on the swings and stuff. Okay, and that community feeling that they get at the ballpark when they're down there on a Saturday or a Friday night or whatever, and especially here when it's warm in the evenings and the kids can be out in the evenings, running around the park till 9 o'clock at night till the lights go out. So anyway, from Little League standpoint, that would be our greatest need, would be simply numbers of fields and opportunity to expand our league a little bit with those. So thank you all for your time.
I had a question for you. So you said you had 160 members in the upper division. How many members total do you have?
Total, we were over 450 in this, I think, in the 6 divisions.
Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Clark. I'm representing the Arizona Soccer Referees Association. I've got a little bit of different perspective on this because I do referee the games. And one of the concerns is the safety of the players. That is my primary job as a referee, is the safety of the players. And the director can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the current fields that the soccer plays on is being used over 10 times their rated capacity. We get near the end of the fall season, we're playing on dirt. If I don't have lines, I'm going to call games. We can't play. And so that's a major concern, just the pure overusage of it. They do the best job that they can, but when you have thousands of feet running over it every single day, there's only so much grass that can be grown. And so that's another concern, is just the safety of the players in general and being able to continue these games, because as more games get added, those fields are going to get used more and more, and it's going to get to the point where we're going to have upset parents because we can't play. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Scotty Taylor, speaking to you guys on behalf of the Havasu Vipers, former board member for Lake Havasu Little League. And these guys have done a great job outlining all the overuse, overscheduled. We see 450 Little Leaguers, 120 Vipers, 150 soccer players. I'll just share with you a quick little anecdote. I recently had scheduled all of our fields for use for our teams to practice on. And because we have too many teams for the amount of fields that are, we actually have 2 teams that practice on the same field at the same time. And they're close in age, so it's not the end of the world. But 4 times this season, I had my practice canceled, or I was unaware of a football game scheduled in the outfield of a baseball field. And so I understand that I want those kids to play football just as much as I want my Vipers kids to play baseball. So I think they should have the opportunity. But I think that speaks to the amount of, we don't have enough solutions for this problem. And I think that's why we're here. And I want to emphasize too that in my opinion, I think we have the most precious resource available to us to make this happen, which is the room. And I think that's super important to consider, because I know it's going to be a big, expensive project. Like these guys said, we have great businesses here, great people in the community that want to help. But the biggest thing is we already know where it needs to go. We have the land for it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I've spoken to you before. My name's Jennifer Blair. I'm the president of the Havasu Stingrays swim team. We have about 75 members right now. 13 are just going to come back from the high school. So we are a little feeder team for the high school team. We have multiple of those athletes that swim for us that have made state and will be going to state for the high school November 8th and 9th of this year. We also have multiple members that have already made regional qualifications. About 17, I believe, we have already for to go to regionals down in Scottsdale and Phoenix area. Unfortunately, right now with our facilities, we can't host those things. So we're constantly traveling out and about to Phoenix, Yuma, Las Vegas, all of those other areas. I know that we have already in the works a new pool planned, and I appreciate that. If we are able to expand that project just a little bit, we will be able to host state meets for both the high school, the swim team, regionals, and things like that. Coach Rick will give you more information on details of that, but we actually canceled practice today and had our practice here, as you can see, because this is so important to us, and that we make an impact and do this the right way the first time, so that we don't have to rebuild a pool 10 years down the road when all of our kids are having kids. So we very much appreciate everything that you guys do. Gabby's done a great job of scheduling the pool, but we're still canceled a couple times a month, if not 4 or 5 times a month, because of other things that are going on, especially during high school season. We get canceled once a week for high school meets to happen, so our kids don't get to practice. And then when the elementary schools go to use the facilities as well. So we're grateful that this new pool is going in. We want a little bit of expansion on the project. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really wasn't going to come up here and talk, and I'll try to make it for my 3 minutes. Yeah, I'm Coach Rick. We did cancel practice today. Guys, I feel your pain. Okay, about the biggest thing that I've taken out of this, and thank you everybody for sharing. Okay, I didn't know how big the baseball and all that stuff was, but now I do, and I really do appreciate that. The one thing that really stands out to me is they outgrew the facility. They outgrew everything right now. They got more kids than they can handle. So with us, same thing. I'm pushing for a 50-meter pool, because what's going to happen in 10 years? We're going to be right back up here with more kids that want to swim, and we ain't got the facility to do it. Now, I wish there was a crystal ball that we could give you guys all your space that you guys need for all of that, because again, Stingray, stand up for a minute. Stand up, Stingray, quick. Come on, quick. Okay. This is just a small portion of the kids that are in the community, plus then all of their kids too. It's a small portion. And we need the facilities, however you guys can do that. Round tables, whatever it might be. I'm going to touch real quick, if you don't mind, then I'll get out of here. For what Jen started talking about was our championship. We have to travel everywhere. So we're about $1,000 a family to go every single month if we go to a swim meet. We got 70 some kids on the team. Probably about 20 of those travel because they just can't afford it. So if we could bring meets here, that would be more beneficial for us in the community. So for swim, we have two different seasons. We have a long course and a short course. Both of those seasons, usually for the long course, is a 3-month course, and it's during summer. It goes 50 meters. We have a regional, a state, and then a senior state. Okay, for all three of those for that long course. Then we have short course. We have regionals, state, and senior state. State is age group 14 and below. In any of those meets there's anywhere between 500 to 1,000 kids at those meets. They're 4-day meets. Again, we have to travel for those. If we had a facility that could hold these, we could hold 6 meets a year with over 1,000 people in those meets here. That's kids. That's not the parents and the people traveling with them, which again would lighten up the hotels, food, you name it. Okay. So again, it's not just about, I guess, us wanting a 50-meter pool or just a pool in general. It's for the youth. It's for the kids. So that's where we could bring in some of that. And then also, we started a master's team for those older folks. Okay. We started that as well. And we're going to eventually probably run out of there too. So again, I'm not going to talk any more about this tonight because I don't think this is the right place to do it. But I did want to say we're still here. We're not going nowhere. These guys are not going to go anywhere. So we do have to find some solutions, however that might be. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Marcia Linus. Colleen made me do this. I'm the rec registrar for the Havasu Soccer. And so for us, it's a difficult job. I'm sorry, it is. When I first started as rec, 3 years ago? We had like 650 kids in the fall season, about 350 in the spring. Maybe 100 at most on the club team. I don't deal with the club. I know they've grown. I deal with rec. Right now, we have between 800 and 850 players in the fall and almost 500 in the spring. It's grown so much that when I first started, U6, I was putting 1 team on a field for practice. I have to do 2 on every single field for practice. I had to go from an hour practice down to 45 minutes of practice with every single division. U12 and U15, they have to play on the same field. We have to use ASU, or those kids are playing till 10:30 at night for games every Saturday. Referees don't like that. They're out there all day long. They don't want to stay till 10:30 at night. I wouldn't either. I have U6 kids practicing till 8:30 at night because there's no field space. We're growing. It's huge. So trying to work that where all of the coaches can get the field time that they want, the field space they want. Mind you, we are only allowed to give them 2 days a week. That's 90 minutes a week of practice. That's it. I can't give them more. I used to. I can't. Their game times have gotten shorter throughout the seasons that I've been there. So that's kind of where we're at. We definitely have to use, during the rec season, all of the club teams have to use ASU. Sometimes they get knocked off the field because of baseball or other things going on. High school has to use their fields. They get knocked off, but we can't do it without both Cypress and ASU, and we're already growing out of that. And we've only had Cypress a couple of years, so that's where we're at with our numbers. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sheena Boyd. I am the coach for the 2016 girls competitive team. We are the youngest of our girls club team through soccer. One of the challenges that we have is part of the season we're able to practice at Cypress where we have a lined field. One thing with working with the younger kids is they're very visual learners. So when we get pushed to ASU, we're not on a lined field. We have goals, so we are having to kind of improvise, but when we're trying to teach them positions and be able to really teach them the fundamentals of what the game consists of, it's definitely challenging for them. So being able to have more fields available for us to where they're able to utilize the field how it's supposed to and see how we're supposed to work on a field, it definitely helps their development with letting them become stronger and push forward with things. I know our teams are definitely growing stronger, getting it to where our high school teams are becoming full club competitive play, going more towards CIF in that regard. So more space would definitely be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Room is full. Now's your time.
Guess they're making me come up here. But my name is Kevin Flan. I'm a manager for the 9U Vipers baseball team. This has to do with football and baseball. The field for football is overgrown. The grass, excuse my language, it smells like shit 9 times out of the year. And with our baseball fields, obviously we need more space. And we're trying to get these bigger entities, national entities that are throwing tournaments everywhere else, but they want to throw it in the middle between California and here so we can get more teams to play. But then when we need a fence to be put up for the smaller kids, they want to charge these guys after they drove 3.5, 4 hours to try to make this community better for the kids and bring more people here and more people that want to come here. Bullhead has the field house. They have nicer fields than us. And again, like we said, we have overgrown grass. It's not cut too often. They do a great job with the fields. I think we could always do better. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening. My name is John Schwing. I am the newest coach for the Havasu Lions Football Club. I am coaching the youngest of the boys, U15, 16. I brought many of my boys up from the rec side, and we've built up into a new travel ball team. We're looking forward to traveling out of town for tournaments, but at the same time, with the growth of our football club, we would like to be having tournaments here, inviting Kingman, Bullhead, Parker, Phoenix teams, Las Vegas teams, where we bring them to our town. I think we need to work on expanding that, where we can bring the money in, much like the Vipers talked about, bringing the baseball, the girls' Viper, softball tournaments, just the same. The pool, our kids have expanded within the city. When I first moved here 13 years ago, we would have never thought that the sports would have been this big. Now they're overshadowing. And I think we, as a group, are starting to overshadow the pickleball people here in town. And hey, that's fine. But I think the pickleball people get a little more access to a lot of things, and we can bring a lot to the city as well. And I think we need the opportunity and be given the opportunity to show what we can do for our youth here in town, not just the retired people here in town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tiara Setzer. So yes, we need more fields. That's relevant. We know that. But I have children on 2 travel sports. So to have a facility that can host, like everyone has said, events here for cheer, for dance, for Vipers, for football would be great, not only for our kids, but for our community. I mean, think about how many people would come to those events from out of the area. That will not only help us for our children and us not having to travel so much, but to bring that revenue into our community. So I think it's a kind of a benefit for all parties involved, not only for our youth, but for the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Caden Cox, and I play football, Little League, baseball, and Vipers baseball. This year, I made it to All-Stars, and we played a tournament. We took 3rd place in state because of the opportunities I had in these sports. We practiced all summer in the heat. We could really use indoor facilities year-round athletes training.
Good job.
Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ezekiel. I'm on the board with the soccer organization here in town. Everybody is crying about field space. Yes, we need an indoor facility. But the truth of the matter is we do have space. We have grade schools, we have our high school, we have our middle school. They have fields. All we are asking the city to do is, can you put good grass in there and lights so we can use those fields for this growing community? Havasi is not going to get any smaller. Havasi is going to grow bigger and bigger. And the bigger the city grows, families get younger. And we have to cater for them too. So let's work with the schools to see if we can use their fields instead of trying, which I would still advocate for you guys to put more facilities out here. But let's use what we have right now and make it happen for all these kids that are here. We thank you for your good work and keep working hard for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the board?
Oh my gosh. Hi, my name is Cannon Bitterman. I play soccer, baseball, and Vipers baseball. I also committed myself to earning honor roll, serve on honor roll society, and serve on my student council. I have a busy schedule, and because we don't have enough fields, I practice late at night, so all teams I practice late at night, so all teams have a chance to use the fields. Thank you.
Good job, dude. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, my name is Lindsay Bitterman. I am a mom. I also have coached, and my kids participate in soccer, Little League, travel baseball, and farm club here in town. That was my son, and probably I think his first year of soccer, his practices ended at about 8:30 at night. We are very active and involved parents. We like to help our students pursue their goals. My students are very driven by athletics. It's part of why he keeps good grades, because I tell him, you're a student and then you're an athlete. I know that's his future when he gets into middle school and high school. It is a challenge working with young, tired kids. I have seen amazing coaches out there trying to keep these little ones in soccer as young as 4 and 5 engaged at 8 o'clock at night. It's not developmentally appropriate, but that is what we have to work with. I think that our programs would continue to grow if they were more conducive to families' schedules, and if we had better options for scheduling. I would really like to see the partnerships that we could develop to bring these programs together. I do serve on our Little League board. I am actively working with the Vipers to help promote their events as well. The people are here. We are behind you. We appreciate everything you've done to this point. We need families in this community. They are our workforce. We need these kids to go off, earn their degrees, come back and invest in this town. But they have to want to come back here. They have to see a future for their children and their grandchildren to do that. And the more we can make this a family-centered community, the stronger our workforce will be, and the better we will be able to serve all of our visitors that drive our economy. I hope you'll really make this a priority and push it through as quick as you can. I know these things do take time. But time is of the essence. We ran out of time and space on our fields probably 3 or 4 years ago, from my perspective as a parent. So I hope that we're not having this conversation in 5-10 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kylie Pennington, and I'm on the swim team, and I really want to have the 5 meter pool built because, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Hi, my name is Dan Cross with the Lake Havasu Chiefs football and cheer. I just want to thank the city. We've had a pretty good relationship with you guys over the last, I've been here 14 years. We've done a lot of stuff out there to make the field improvements out there. I don't know if anybody's been out there, but there's a lot of stuff going on out there to make it a really nice facility. We put a lot of time and effort, got a lot of good sponsors, but we are running. I mean, luckily we haven't outgrown our facility yet. It's getting there, but we're not quite there, but there definitely need more fields in this town. We got some really good athletes out here that are doing some good things. Kids going out, playing, D1 football, D1 baseball. A lot of talented kids out here. We just don't have the space to help them out so much. We're doing what we can with what we got, but we definitely don't have what these bigger cities, not even necessarily bigger cities, but just other places around us even have. I mean, Bullhead's facilities are just, not even talking about the field house, but just their Rotary Park out there is just massive. I mean, there's tons of baseball fields, soccer fields, multi-use fields. It is something we definitely need that out here. I mean, we've got so much talent in this town. I mean, we're having to go, as the kids got older, my boys played baseball and they had to go out of town to get the better facilities and play at these better places. But it all started here. I mean, it all started here on these fields. And we just need to do better. I mean, I know it's a money thing. I know it's a logistics thing, but there's a lot of younger families moving here. And I've been here 19 years now, and the town's changed since I've been here. When I first moved here, it was retirement town. It was a vacation town, parties, whatever. But the families in this town are starting to grow a lot. Like there's a lot of younger families coming in here, raising their kids here. That's why we moved here. We moved from Phoenix to raise our kids because it's a small town. We like that small town feel, and we just got to do something about it. I know it's going to take everybody. I mean, it's going to take everybody to get it done, but we definitely need to do better for these kids because town's not getting any smaller, like people have said. I mean, we're definitely growing, and sports is huge. Keeps kids out of trouble. I know it did me when I was younger, and it's definitely something that we need to really focus on as a community and get a lot of these companies and businesses and stuff involved because, it doesn't get better than watching kids play sports. I mean, it's awesome. So, but I do want to thank you guys. You guys have worked really well with us, and I know stuff has changed at the baseball fields as well. But we definitely need to get some more fields, do something, and expand what these kids can do because it's awesome. It's awesome. Like my son was on the Little League team that went out there and got third in the state, and that was little Podunk Havasu goes out there and competes with these teams from Scottsdale and Ahwatukee, and it's awesome to see those kids get out there and get that opportunity. So it'd just be nice to have more fields to expand on that, get more kids playing and more kids in the programs. So that's really all I got. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Aubrey Shed, and I'm a part of HSST. And I would just like to say that we have a really small pool, and we have a lot of good swimmers. And I think we definitely deserve that second pool because we work our hardest to push through and do what we need to do. Okay, your turn.
Hi. My name is Lily Callison. I play softball. I just recently quit soccer. I'm not doing it anymore. But I think we need more like softball fields and like more fields for like baseball and that, because there's a lot of people who are like wanting to try out and stuff, but like we don't get to because like how little there is. So I just think there should be like more, even though like how much money still could take. I think there should just still like try to like raise money to be able to make more fields.
Great job, girls. Would anybody else like to address the board? Sure. Like I said, this is your time to speak. Not only is it us listening, city council watches this, city manager and everybody else. So I would encourage you, if you guys want to have something to say, even if it's short, I would suggest you do it now.
Hello, my name's Carrie Crane. I've got 3 young boys. They play football, Vipers baseball, Little League. They also did play soccer. Just kind of piggybacking off of what everybody said. More fields, a little bit more maintenance. I know that, they've been doing the best that they can. The football field, we've got ants and there's holes out there. I know myself, I was in a boot and almost rolled when I was walking. Even the baseball fields this last weekend, there's some improvements that need to be made. A ball got hit out there and came up, hit a kid in the eye and got a black eye. Definitely, the more fields, it will keep the kids out of trouble. I've been here, started kindergarten here, graduated, and it kept myself and my brother out of trouble. So, just piggybacking off what everybody else said would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Levine.
Pull that microphone up. There you go.
I'm Rebecca Levine. I'm with the HSST swim team, and I wanted to piggyback on what some of the other swim members were talking about. If you're going to do the pool facility, do it right, do it big enough to last 10, 20 years so that we're not always playing catch up. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to come back up for just a minute. And I'm only doing that because I want you guys to look around at the medical staff that's here in the community and that we're keeping in this community by being able to raise our kids here. All of us are here today where we've got nurse practitioners here. We've got dentists. We have a chiropractor that was here earlier. I don't know who else is medical here, but fire police. These are the people that work for this community, that bring this money to this community and keep these people healthy here. So I just want to reiterate that we need these facilities to keep us here for our kids. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll hold your applause. I haven't talked yet. Hi, guys. Alon Seamus. I live here, own a business here. I have coached Little League. I've coached soccer. Pretty much any sport my son wanted to do. My wife signed me up to coach it. And it's really difficult coaching these kids because of the access to the fields. And it's really hard to keep kids focused in January when you're in December, when you're on Cypress at 8:30 at night, it's really cold and everyone just wants to go home. And they're 7 and 8 years old. It's hard to coach Little League kids who have never held the ball in their life to teach them how to throw a ball safely and not hit their friend in the face or throw it across the field in the wrong direction when you only have an hour once a week because we have games that we have to get ready for. And I thought I outsmarted the system one year when I decided to hold our practices over at Oro Grande, but the fields were almost unusable. So we had just a dirt field to practice in that was covered in ants. We need to invest in now solutions. We need to invest in future solutions. We need to pretty much leverage every blade of grass and open acre that we have to facilitate our sports. We have softball that's coming up. We haven't even mentioned the adult softball leagues that take up half of our baseball fields in springtime as well. Softball, they're finally getting a program together that's actually going to develop the girls' side of the sport, which is going to probably double this number of athletes that we're going to have soon. So we need to convert every, like you said before, every elementary school into a baseball field, a soccer field. There's a huge open area down at Rotary Park that's only used for soccer pictures that I look at and I'm like, why aren't we playing soccer here? It's beautiful. There's no goalposts there. So we have space for now to help alleviate these crunches and future issues that absolutely my kid's probably not going to get to enjoy an indoor dome or any expansion that we do in the parks, but we want it for the future families because when I try and bring another doctor in, they look around and they try and see the facilities for raising their family. And a lot of them kind of say, sorry, there's no mall and there's no place for my kids to do their sport. And it's really tough. So we need to do everything we can as a community to try and bring in talent. And that's part of having a good parks and recreations department. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Raul Favela. I have a soccer shirt on, but besides that, I'm speaking as a coach. Former Lake Havasu graduate. I've been here since '98. Was born in '98. Graduated in 2017. I've been through all the baseball, baseball leagues. I did soccer when we played at Nautilus and Thunderbolt and Oro Grande. I remember being in high school and playing soccer over at Sarah Park just because the spaces were limited. I did make a mistake not speaking the first time when we were talking about building Cypress and expanding on more soccer fields. So that's why I'm here today to talk. I will say I'm very grateful for Parks and Rec. I'm not gonna lie to you. Soccer was the best thing that ever worked for me. And now I have the pleasure to coach kids that are 10 years younger than me. I'm 25. And I got freshmen telling me, hey, coach, you're old. And all that good stuff. And all their little brothers and siblings are like, hey, it's an old guy coaching you. I do love seeing the way we're growing as a community. And obviously looking around, we're all together. We're all in this together. And it's one of those opportunities that we want to show you that anything that we need to do, let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's work together. As someone who played in the league, it's just great. It's just mind-boggling to me. I remember being this small, playing up to all the way through high school. I've won. I was with the high school team when we won the championship for soccer, like a local tournament against the other Mojave County schools. I'm just rambling on at this point, but it's just to show you that I enjoy the sports and the development that we're doing as a community, and just to show you that kids are coming back and they are investing. I started coaching at 18, right after high school. I was like, you know what? I need to find a way to give back. And well, at 18, you're not financially responsible. So the next best thing was to coach. And I've coached since. I'm now a head coach for freshmen in 8th grade, and I've very much enjoyed it. And I just want to say thank you guys for giving me this opportunity, because without the city's help, dreams like this couldn't happen. I've enjoyed it. The community enjoys it. And we're just looking forward to the great future that we have here for sports. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jocelyn Branchek. I wasn't planning on talking, but I've been very inspired by everyone in this room. So just wanted to give a few more notes about the pool. So I moved to this town 12 years ago. I'm a family physician here in town. I'm a former Division I swimmer for Arizona State. And this town is way too big for the current aquatic facilities that we have. This pool here is so overutilized between the swim team, the swim lessons. We don't even offer year-round swim lessons for the youth in this town, which is crazy to me for how many kids we have. They offer them like a few times a year, and they're only for a few weeks at a time. So there's not a lot of opportunity for kids that want to learn to swim but don't necessarily want to be competitive swimmers and do the swim team. There's also opportunity for water safety classes, adult masters swimming. Like, I would love to be able to do the masters team, but they practice at like 5 a.m. and I have a job, so it doesn't exactly work out. So another pool would open up swimming for the adults. Adult aquatic aerobics is a great exercise for adults that need low impact for their joints and things like that. So I just wanted to thank you guys for building the new pool, and I feel like a 50-meter facility would open up so many opportunities to this town, not for only the people who live here, but also bringing other people to see our town for swim meets and things of that nature. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, guys. I'm Victoria Reeves. I'm the assistant coach for the Havasu Stingrays swim team. I've been here in town almost 10 years. I own a construction company. We stay here in this town because we love the town. We love the family, all of this, what this town has to offer. That being said, I've got a swimmer who's been on the team. Well, she started on the Pirates when she was 5, and she is almost 14. Her goal is to swim for college. It is very difficult. We have a very good competitive team. However, our facility is so small and our time is so limited there because we do share the pool. I've never lived in a town where the high school itself does not have its own pool. We share the pool with the high school. We share the pool, as others said, with water safety, with all of our first responders who train in the pool because they are on the boats in the lake and they need that water safety. We do scuba. We share with scuba. Having a second pool gives the swimmers who want to have more of a competitive edge a better chance at being competitive against those giant teams over in Scottsdale of 400 and 500 swimmers. We don't have the space to have that competitive side of things. The non-competitive side of things is the water safety. As she just said, we don't have year-round swimming lessons. When I moved here, I was astounded that we don't have year-round swimming lessons. It boggles my, we're a water town. How can we not have year-round swimming lessons for not just the youth, but adults? And how many adults don't know how to swim or do any kind of rescue? So having a second pool gives everyone the edge, and a larger second pool. Building a small pool, that's great. It's something. But again, we're going to outgrow it if we haven't already. So the idea of building something less than a 50-meter pool, it doesn't make sense financially or for the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Corky Coiner, coach for the Vipers. I coach the Little League. These are my dudes. Coach soccer. I'm a dad. I work here in town. It's a fact. You guys know we need fields. Like, No one else has to stand up and tell you guys we need more soccer fields, we need more football fields, we need a bigger pool, we need, what else do we need? Football. You guys know that, right? Okay. Your job is now to convince council, give us some money and let's make these things happen, right? We've told you we'll support you, we'll pool together, we'll bring money, we'll bring resources, right? So how do you guys convince council we got to make this stuff happen, right? That's your job. You guys know we need fields. It's been brought up. This is our community, right? This is medical, police, fire, construction, like you name it, this is the people. City's biggest problem. We have a problem with workforce. What's the hot topics right now? Recruitment, retention. That's the word, right? Talk to any council member. Recruitment, retention. We have big problems. This is how we bring them there. You've heard from the doctors, right? They say, hey, come work here. What do you got for my kids? What do you got for my family? You guys know, we need family facilities. This is a piece of that puzzle. If we're gonna start putting this together and making it happen, this is a piece of that puzzle, right? For a fact, good families leave here for better facilities for their kids to go play sports. Maybe not everyone's as competitive as me, but I'm gonna tell you most are. You don't think I've researched like the best high school to go play baseball for or football? I would leave here to go do that for my kids, like for sure. So I know there's other people like that. That's the reality. This is the piece of the puzzle. That's the magic key right there. Is that we need families, we need workers, the workforce, recruitment, retention. We need to bring people here and we need to stop them from leaving, and their families will do that. It's all about that. Most people came here for the family atmosphere. That's why they like it, right? So that's all. You're not allowed to talk.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Carter Blair. I'm a varsity swimmer for LHHS, and I'm also a HSST member. I would really like this pool built, but as we can tell, there are a few people here who also want fields, stuff like that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
No, you guys are talking. All right, hey. Want you to talk? Go ahead. All right. I'm Bill Freeze. These are my girls. These are my competitive 2016 girls. We grew up playing rec together. They started to get a little bit better and wanted to compete and get harder and harder. So last year in January, I decided to work with the Lions and put together a competitive team for my girls. The downside is every weekend or every other weekend, just about, we're in Phoenix for a tournament. And I mean, as much as it is, these girls, they're 8 years old now. They love being out there and competing and getting harder and harder. Technically, she's 7. Okay. So, had to be corrected here. So, but I mean, as you can tell, it's a family here, and we just would like an equal opportunity to get more field space to continue growing this team, to get them to become our high school team here in the near future, and just continue growing from there. And I do think they wanted to say something, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
You go first. I'll go first. Okay. No, it's Avery wants to go first. Avery go. I'm Avery Berkey, and my... Wait. My name is Mia, and I'm 7 years old, and I want more soccer fields. Okay, your turn. Your turn.
Are we talking? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, step up.
My name is Piper, and I'm 7 years old. You're 8. No. You just turned 8. I don't know. But I'm technically 7 because
Anybody else? We're running out of time.
Hello, I'm Mia Hayes, and I'm 8 years old, about to turn 9 in like a few months. And I think we need more soccer fields for rec and travel. Say your name and
Okay, line back. If you've talked, step back.
Hi, my name is Tinley McShay, and I'm 8 years old, and I just want to have fun during we play soccer. Hi, my name is Joy Marie Moran, and this is with Mia H. We need more soccer fields because we can't play out. Can you guys please stop laughing?
Come on, girls.
Because we have to play at like 7 o'clock at night on Saturdays. What? Yeah. Hello, my name is Adeline and I'm 8 years old. Hello, my name is Shelby Boyd and I'm 8 years old.
Hi, I'm Jovial Moran. My family, we've been here about 10 years, but we have been part of the Chiefs. We actually helped donate for their brand new scoreboard. We've been part of Little League. Unfortunately, my kids chose not to play those sports, and I played that all my life. Well, not all my life, sorry, through collegiate. And so I have been a little tyke to the collegiate level. And the opportunities we lack here, knowing of going through the programs and knowing as you grow and you progress and you get better, to have that competitive edge and be able to perform against all the other kids that are playing at D1 levels, we're lacking thereof. But I know we have the community support. My husband would be here and talk too as well, but he's actually on the field coaching. We just played in Vegas. We played against a Mexico team. We played against a Nevada team and a team from the Bay Area this weekend. Because of the lack of field opportunities, we don't get as much opportunities to have touches on the ball as these other areas, metropolitan areas, because we are limited to the field use. Unfortunately, this is our fourth season actually, and we have shown that progression to be able to compete. I know the Vipers have been showing that ability to compete. We're putting Havasu on the map, but it's the opportunities to continue to teach and develop these kids. When we've talked to Phoenix teams, they're playing 5 days a week. They're practicing every day or they're scrimmaging other teams, and we just don't have that kind of opportunity. And if it's a financial thing, I know that this community would come together. In a matter of 3 weeks, my team, we raised $10,000 going into the community asking for sponsorship and help, because not only traveling, let's just put in perspective, there's 12 boys on a team or 12 girls on a team. It's $1,000 a weekend for us to travel to Phoenix. Imagine that revenue we can bring into our community and be able to support the fields that we're requesting. So that money is going out. We could have a lot more participation, because I know we have lack of participation because families can't afford it, can't afford to go out. But they have the talent. They have kids who have the ability to play, but they can't afford it. So we have the fees. We have all of these impacts that I know if we came together as a community, our community would come together and help. I know from the Vipers, like they said, construction workers, I come from a construction background, we have equipment. We're all willing in to give the time and sweat equity and things of that nature if we can have the help on your guys' end and help with the youth, because the youth is our future. And I know if I didn't have the sports that I had when I was in the youth, I wouldn't be where I am today and as successful as I am today, because of it's not only physical, it's mental. It's teaching them to be in your shoes today, to be quality adults in their adulthood. So, sorry, I didn't write anything, but that's it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian Baumkirchner, Advisory Board. To put this all in perspective, I was born in 1977. and everyone's still playing Little League and baseball in the same fields. So that's a good perspective on it. And if any pools to be built less than 50 meters, I think would be not the smartest decision, but a little perspective for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to end it because I got to drive to Phoenix. But hey, real quick, we teach our kids to win. We go out, we teach them to go out and try hard, but we teach them to lose humbly too. But we teach them to keep pushing. So if we're going to teach our kids that, we're all going to keep coming back. We're going to come back here. We're going to be in front of city council, whatever it takes. And if we got to bring more and more people just to show that we do have that community support, we're going to keep showing up. We will get behind it. We can get the money together if it's, and I know it's a money thing, and I understand that, but we have the community that'll back it. So we're going to keep coming back until everybody jumps on board. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi there. My name's Colleen McShay. I've got numerous kids that have played football. We've played soccer. We've played baseball. We've done all the sports. I think that we can identify that Lake Havasu City is a destination city. So if we can get the fields up to par, people are going to want to come here. They're going to want to put on a soccer tournament, a baseball tournament. They're going to say, ooh, it's in Havasu. I want to go there. So if we can get a facility that's got multiple uses, I think that would be amazing. I also think one piece of the puzzle that hasn't been talked about yet is individuals with disabilities. As our families grow here in Lake Havasu, more individuals with disabilities will join our community. And I want to make sure that all of the adaptive sports are going to be thought about also as the community continues to grow. So I challenge you guys as part of the city to think about what is it going to take to make this happen and bring it back to us as a community. Because like a lot of these people have said, I honestly think that if you come back and say, okay, we need X, we need Y, we need Z, holy smokes, you just wait. Because I honestly think that Lake Havasu will rise and that we can help it together to make this happen. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? Come on up.
Hi, I'm Peyton Reeves, and I've been on the swim team for 8 years, and so I've had a lot of time to watch the team grow. We have little kids that practice extremely late at night because we share a pool with the high school swim team that practices right after school, and so I get out of the pool at 7:15, and I know groups go later, and also we have those senior groups and all the kids groups and the training that needs to happen. We are a water town. As you can see, even we have the London Bridge and the logos and all that, but we are a water city, and we don't have, I guarantee more than half of the population in Havasu doesn't even know how to properly tread water. We don't have the space, and we don't have the long enough pools. If we try to have a swim meet, we can only accommodate so many teams, and a bigger pool would raise so much more money than most people are probably saying that it would, because we have all the seniors, and we are a town of seniors. We have the snowbirds coming in right now, and I think it would just benefit us so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Last call. All right. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
So I do want to acknowledge on behalf of the Parks and Recreation Department, thank you guys for coming out here and speaking your truth and some of the wants and needs, and I would say more so needs than wants for this community. I understand that we are growing. That's something that I've seen in the short time that I've been here, and I'm a parent as well, and those are some of the things that I consider, even with moving my own family over to Havasu. So I do hear your concerns. I do want to acknowledge that I do have my team inside this room right now. So more so than just me, we genuinely care about getting things done for you. Behind the scenes, we are working. We've decided we want to try and see what we can pursue with the school district. seeing how we can get some additional field space there, helping them out, getting those fields up to par. My door is always open. We've had the Havasu Lions come in. We've had the Stingrays come in as well, and we've already had some of these discussions about the growing need of this community. Again, I do just want to, button down and say our next year, one of our big goals is this master plan. And that is going to be a key factor in us growing and expanding. And that's going to be the opportunity for the community to come out and really use your voices. It's more so not even so much about the money, but the logistics. Where are we going to put these fields? How are we going to operate them? There's so much that goes into this, but I think it's really important that you all are using your voices and using the platform that you're given. So thank you guys so much for coming out. And we're going to continue to work together as a department, as a city, and as a community to make sure that we get you guys what you need. It just will take some time.
Thank you. Right. Public hearing is closed. Would anybody from the board like to comment? Questions? Of course, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts with the board. This is incredible, and seeing the youth involved in some civic advocacy is awesome, and I'm inspired. We are the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, so and you heard the director speak, and I advise that we as a board continue having these discussions and pushing some recommendations up to City Council. I recognize that all, if not, I think all of you or most of you are volunteering in your capacity with youth sports, so thank you for that. That is an incredible wealth that this community has, and I just wanted to share my appreciation for all of you. I also wanted to acknowledge and reiterate the kudos given to our director and our superintendent and their staff for keeping those fields so beautifully maintained despite the overusage. And that doesn't negate the fact that we do need more. And finally, I really appreciate the economic argument has been shared before, and it hasn't gotten a lot of traction for what tournaments could bring to this city. I really appreciated hearing the workforce argument, and that our living community. So I think that's worth exploring, and I think that's a really valid point that many of you made. And finally, this is a discussion item, so I think perhaps we can talk more about maybe getting some recommendations and more of an action from our board. Mr. Chair, if that might be something we can talk about in the future.
Sure. Ready, thank you. Questions, comments? Sir, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As long as everybody else from the board is done, then I will speak my part. Thank you. First off, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out. We hear from different groups on occasion. We'll have the soccer group come. We'll have the football group come. We'll have the swim team group come. Having all of you in here to not only let this board know what you think, but you're letting all the other organizations know what it is that you need, and that it's not just one organization that needs the help. So I want to say thank you for that. Two, I want to say thank you for being so respectful. I've been on the council for 8 years, and I can tell you that not every group is as respectful as you guys have been, and it's so much more warming to hear what you have to say, and it really has more of an impact when you're not screaming and yelling, but you're actually just telling us what your needs and your wants are. And as our director said, it's more of needs, not wants. And so I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. A lot of you know me and how much I support Parks and Rec, and your teams. You're the reason I actually ran for city council over 8 years ago, and it started with my grandson who lives here in town, and he was playing t-ball, and I would go to his games, and there wasn't enough coaches out on the field, so I started coaching t-ball here, and so I had a direct knowledge of the lack of baseball fields. Now he's involved in soccer here in town, and I understand what's going on with soccer. I go to anything that you all have invited me to, I'm there. whether it's football or the swim team or the soccer or anything, baseball, throwing the first pitch, anything you guys have ever asked me for is how much I support you guys. And that is why I ran for council. And one of the first things that came up was Cypress Park. When I got on the council, I'd been on the council about 3 months, and Cypress Park came to us, and we had citizens come up to the microphone and tell the city council, we don't want these parks. We don't need soccer fields in this town. Why are you building this here? And I thought that just makes absolutely zero sense. So most of you know me, so you know this story, but I spent several weeks walking within a half a mile of Cypress Park. I knocked on every single door and said, do you want this park here or don't you? The only people that didn't want the park were the people that came to the city council meeting. Everybody else wanted it. So that just goes to show how important words are, because there was nobody that came to that council meeting that night that said, we really want Cypress Park to be here. We really need the soccer fields. It was only people saying we didn't need it. So what you guys are doing really does have an impact. And I tell these stories because I want you to realize we hear what you say. We're understanding what you're saying. We believe in what you're saying. Everybody up here believes in exactly what you guys are saying and that we need these things. I've got to give great kudos to the Parks and Rec staff. They have a very small budget when it comes to the big city part. So when we're looking at budgets, we're looking at the entire city when we divvy up that pie. And some goes to the fire department, some goes to the police department, some goes to the street department. I mean, everybody here says we need better roads, we need better this, we need better that. So much goes to Parks and Recreation, and they do an excellent job with the amount of money we have them. If you were at our last city council meeting, we talked about some stuff, and we had people get up and say that we needed to lower the amount of fees that we pay or the citizens pay for their kids to be able to go to the aquatic center, which I don't think anybody disagrees. We'd love to make it free for everybody. But that money comes directly out of the Parks and Rec's budget, because regardless of whether or not we charge for those fees, they still have to hire the lifeguards. They have to supply the chlorine. They have to do all the stuff that goes in there. And we just put over $5 million into that pool that we now have. Some of the things that we've been able to do over the last couple of years is working with city staff. We've had our other department heads actually give up portions of their budgets to give to Parks and Rec so that we can do some of the field work that we've done. And this is the team that we have here in the city all working together to make sure that everybody gets a piece of that pie. And so we've been able to fix some of those fields. One of the things I'm very, very happy about, and some of you came out for this, when we were doing the budget process for this year, we got the $2.5 million put into our budget for a new swimming pool. And I hear you that we need a big pool, not just a small pool. I thoroughly agree with you. I've actually spoken with the superintendent of the school district. We had a lady here say she can't believe the high school doesn't have a pool. I've said the same thing over and over. So not only do you guys all need to speak with this board and with the city council, but the school district as well. As our director already said, we are in negotiations right now working with the school district to get them to open up all of the fields within the school district. So that would be an immediate asset to all of you guys, and the fields and our kids that we need. We need that space. We understand that. Somebody brought up the fact that out at Sarah Park, it was going to be $13 million just for grading. And that was with a different staff. It's interesting when that came about, it was a different city manager, different mayor, all different staff here in the city. And we were looking at building a big complex out at Sarah Park. The grading alone at that time, this was 7 or 8 years ago, was $13 million just to grade it. So it's very, very expensive. And a couple other things. We talked about, one gentleman spoke about the smell at the football fields out on the island there. And the reason for that is that football field is not really a football field. It's actually an affluent settling pond. When we have excess treated sewage water, that's where we store it when we have no place else to put it. And the football team doesn't get to use it during that period of time. When it's not being used for that, then the football field gets to use it. We're making other arrangements. We're trying to find other sources so it becomes a permanent football field, because we're constantly working on these different things. Check my notes, make sure I'm covering everybody's stuff that they covered. We do understand that there is more and more people coming here. Somebody said wave a wand and it can't happen, but you know what? It can, with everybody working together, and I think that's what's going to happen here. And I've got some ideas that I'll want to bring up if I may. One thing that one of the ladies said here a moment ago about that we need to tell you what it is that you need from us, so that you can work on getting that. Actually, what we need is for you guys to tell us exactly what it is that you need, and then come up with some sort of a solution that you can bring forward so that we can work on it. One of the things that somebody else brought up was Bullhead and the complex that they have out there. That was built with a bond. So they went to the voters to get the money, and they built that field house in those fields with a bond. And I can tell you, if the city council goes to the citizens and asks for a bond to build sports fees, it will not pass. That's political reality. It's just not going to happen. However, we saw that happen with the school district, right? Several years ago, the school district went forward with the bond and it failed. And so the schools didn't get the fields they needed. The teachers weren't getting the pay they needed. But what happened right after that? The citizens went forward and requested a bond, and it passed. It has to be a grassroots effort from you guys if that's the way you want to move forward. Something else that I would suggest as you move forward is all of you guys have all come together in the room and you're working together here. We have all the different swim teams, the football, the baseball, the soccer, everybody. What I would suggest is you guys kind of put together your own little committee of the organizations, so that when you come here, you're coming here with exactly what your needs are and some ideas on how to fix that. So when you talk to this board, you can have that information and it's solid and you're speaking as a group. Even tonight, I mean, this was great that you all came here and were here, but over half of you have already left and not hearing what the rest of the conversation. So I think it'd be really important for you guys to put together a working group, and putting together your ideas, not just on what you need, but how do we solve the problem? And part of that is going to be working with the other entities. And then when you do that, then you can come forward as a group with a spokesperson saying, here's what these groups need, and here is what our solutions are and ways that we think that this could work. And I'm bringing this up because I've been a very strong advocate for you guys over the last 8 years. But quite honestly, I only have 30 days left on council, and then I'm done. And I am retiring. Brian said, that 1977 is that's the year I joined the military. So I'm a lot older than you guys, and so it's time for me to retire. But with that, I think you guys actually have a really good idea of how to move forward with this. And part of that is you came and you spoke to this board, and this board will advise the council. But you guys come together as a grassroots way of what exactly do we need? How do we think we can do it? Where can we do it? And how do we raise those funds? And then that will go forward here. So, and that's all I have, Mr. Chair. I hope I didn't ramble on too long.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments from the board? Okay. That's okay. You got something on this topic?
It could be a potential discussion item, but let's see. Are there any rules on how companies can volunteer their time, materials, or time, labor, and materials? Is there anything against that, or like a process? Because a lot of the folks in the audience did, mention how they have these specialty backgrounds?
Are you asking me that question? Yes, there are
Yes, anyone
rules.
who knows the answer.
Yes, there are rules on how that they can volunteer their time, but that is something that would go into negotiations into a contract when the time came to actually build whatever it is that we're going to build. It's not just carte blanche. There's all kinds of different facets that work into that, and it would have to be part of the bid process and the negotiation process. So yes, there are rules.
A brief comment, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yes, and the rules are there. We do understand that for sure. And just a reminder to the community that the Aquatic Center was originally built on a bond. So it's not that it can't be done again, but that is a big effort. I've always been a strong advocate of the parks being a strong revenue generating source. And parks across the country have found that music festivals and things of that nature can be, like our balloon festival and other events in Lake Havasu, can be a revenue generating opportunity. We have a beautiful facility for that. Don't want to take a lot of time here to talk further about it, but I'm available, easy to reach. If you would like more information about my concepts about that, I'd be glad to share that information with you. And again, thank you all for coming out. It's very, very important. Appreciate your participation.
Thank you. Okay, I have a couple comments I'd like to make. First off, thank you to every single one of you guys in this room for showing up today. This is where it starts. Lake Havasu is a beautiful community. I can tell you again, for those that know me, I was born and raised here, and I was the kid that was suffering from field usage time when I was young playing Little League. We've come a long way. The city's come a long way. Me and my wife, we're high school sweethearts, and we made the conscious decision to stay here. And have we looked elsewhere? 100%. And I think that Lake Havasu has great potential, and I love it here. But do I think that we can do better? I agree. I think that us as a city, I think that there's always, that forward outlook. And, I think you all being here today reinforces that. And the people that need to hear heard you tonight. I can assure you that. And that's not just us sitting here. Part of the purpose of this board and the reason we sit here is to give you all an avenue to come here and talk, and be heard. And like I said, it's pretty awesome to see the showing today for this topic and show how important it really is to you all. To the kids that got up here and spoke today, that takes a lot. That really does. And that shows how passionate these kids and you all are about what you love and what you want to see this city accomplish. Again, the parents and the coaches, you all being here and encouraging these kids and making these little kids, the people that they are, that really shows something. And this, for me, is the community I want to live in, right here. This is what I want to see, and this is why I love it here. The city staff, you guys are rock stars. At the end of the day, Gabby, Guy, Leslie, if she's still here, you guys are making things happen with not a lot. And I think everybody in this room understands that. And we appreciate you guys. And don't take, I talked to a lot of people prior to this meeting. Don't take the comments that were said negatively to you guys. Because again, I think everybody is out there and they understand what you guys are doing. And we see it, and to the council and the mayor that I'm sure is going to watch this, and the city manager and the assistant city manager, we appreciate, you guys as well. I don't forget the fact that, $1 million has been added to the city's Parks and Recs budget over the past 2 years. And that's huge. We were in a slump as the city's parks department for a while. And that has been truly noticed. The partnerships with these organizations, the football organizations, the baseball organizations, stepping up to do these things, replace fences, replace sheds and storage facilities, and do the things that they can is amazing. So, for me, I'm a big proponent in doing what we can as a city. And again, at the end of the day, we here today are just an advisory board, but this is the purpose of it. This is the purpose of you all showing up and telling us what you want to see as a community. I am a firm believer in structuring our youth. Our youth is what's going to make our community great or not so great, right? As some other communities in our areas. And I think, as a community, we need to do everything we can. And again, you guys sitting here doing that providing this discipline and the structure to these kids is going to make us a community that we all want to continue living in. So again, thank you to you all for coming. Understand, like I said, we heard you. We heard you. Simple as that. Don't think that any of us are being negative up here. I think some reality conversations, have happened, but I would tell you that the progress is, I foresee the progress coming. Again, I just don't know to what level. That's up to people way above my pay, since I do this for free. So, but I would tell you, like I said, continue these conversations, continue talking with each other, and come together and talk with the director. Talk with, if you have ideas, figure out what we want, and let's push forward. There's a lot in this community that we all live here for, and it's a beautiful place. But like I said, I think that there's always forward progression that we can make. So, those are my comments. And again, I appreciate you all for being here today. Is there any final comments from the board? Okay. All right. That being said, we will move on to future discussion items. Would anybody like to add an item for future discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
If I might. And of course, it's not really for future for me, but because I'm not really a voting member of the board, but something that I've brought up in the past and something that I'd like the board to think about is we recently made a change with our airport advisory board, and it's great that we can have this two-way conversation tonight like we just did. But the only reason we're able to have that conversation and have it a two-way conversation is it was put on an agenda. Had it not been on the agenda, everybody would have been able to come up and say their piece, and then we would have never been able to respond to that. And we've heard that quite a bit over the last 2 years that I've actually sat on this board. But with the Airport Advisory Board, one of the things that we've done is we've kind of deformalized the board. We still have the people that are involved in it, but it's not a formal as it is here. And it's more of a quarterly meeting with the airport manager where it's like our coffee with the mayor type of a format where the people can come up and speak and we can have a two-way conversation. So one thing that I'd like you guys to think about and maybe speak with our director is a quarterly meeting with the director where you have that two-way conversation and not an agendized formal Robert's Rules of Order meeting. It's something that you guys might want to think about as you move forward as a board so that you can have those conversations every time people come in and talk and just not on the agendized items. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would it be appropriate to make a motion to put that as a future agenda item?
Of course.
I would like to make that motion, please.
All right. Need a second?
I'll second.
All right. Okay. Any other items? Okay. Future meetings?
Future meeting, November 25th, will be canceled.
All right. Do we have a December date, or is that going to be?
The one in December is December 23rd, so I don't know if that one's going to work out either.
We can just push it up to the 25th. Nobody's going to. Right?
We might just see you guys 2025, huh?
All right. Well, future meetings to be discussed. And before we adjourn?
I would like to acknowledge that our lovely liaison,
Easy with lovely.
our lovely David Lane, Councilmember David Lane. This will be his last Parks and Rec advisory board meeting. I just wanted to acknowledge, even in my short time, which we're on 3.5 months, David, you have been a joy and a pleasure and lovely to work with. And I have really,
for sure.
I have really, really enjoyed you being here. And I think that you have been a great staple for this community. And I know that you are, just because you are retiring from this role, I know that you're still going to have a heavy influence in the community. And I just want to thank you for all of your service for these past 8 years. And I can't wait to see what other amazing things you get to do off the record.
Speech?
No. They didn't come here to hear me speak, but I would like to say thank you. That was very nice of you, and thank you. It has been a pleasure serving this community. I'm not going anywhere. A lot of you know me. There's other things that I do that have to do with youth and youth sports and fundraising for youth sports and ways for children to be able to raise the funds so that they can pay for their own sports, whether it's in school or their organization. If you're wondering about that, just give me a call. My phone number's everywhere. Like I said, most of the people in this room already know me anyway. But thank you. And yes, I will still be part of this community. I'm just stepping back from my leadership roles. So thank you.
Yeah, and great job, Mr. Lane. I mean, you've been a huge part of this community. And again, for those that don't know, he was in the military. He worked for the California Highway Patrol. We won't hold that against you. And then he steps up and becomes part of our city council, and then obviously our liaison for the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. So this guy knows nothing more than service to his community. So we appreciate you and all you've done, and your little lack of hair there. All right, we'll adjourn this meeting and we can do some photos and big hugs after that. So thank you everybody for coming. Have a good night.